Good evening, traders. Raghee here. We're going to take a look at some of the pairs here. In the free video, we're going to walk through the Euro US dollar, Aussie US dollar, and the Aussie loonie. Alright, so first up is the Euro, and as you can see here on the daily time frame, this thing dove down, 3 down days, a little bit of a reprieve right now. And there's a number of points we went through this morning in the chat, which is what's the technical message of the market. So, you know, there is an argument that we could have a very fresh 4 to 6 o'clock angle here, but when we go through the clarity criteria, it's transitional. You know, there may be a 4 to 6, but it's not set yet, as you can see here. So is it smooth? Is it established? And is it respected if applicable? Well, it's not been moving down long enough at 4 to 6 really to be smooth or established. So if nothing else, it's a very fresh downtrend, which still brings us back to being transitional. So we have the congestion, which is a certainty, and we are testing these range lows, and we tend to be kind of clinging to, if you take a look here, let's zoom in a little bit more, we're kind of clinging to that 2300 area. We're not really accelerating too far away from the double zero, which tells me there's enough orders on both sides, say around 2305 to like the 2295 area, which is keeping this market kind of sandwiched right there. And traders may not be wanting to rally this market up in front of EcoFin, but neither are they really willing to carry some large short positions going into the EcoFin meetings tomorrow in Brussels either. So we're still dealing with a transitional market that's sitting at the range lows and arguably, based on the stochastic, is oversold. I'd like to personally see a rally and set up some sort of swing short. We can adjust the levels on the 4 hour, and I would like to see that kind of setup. I know it's longer term. It's not the kind of time frame that I'd like to focus on considering the choppy daily chart, but it is where the clarity is really giving me the most confidence to take that short sell. And I think the short sell is the path of least resistance on the Euro US dollar. And quite frankly, on that 4 hour, I really don't need it to make lower lows for my trade to work. Moving on to the Aussie US, another pair we talked about in depth in the morning chat, swing buy setup, which has already triggered. We talked about the pros and cons of the intraday setups, which were one thing lead to another scenarios. We got the one thing lead to another setup that took us to the aggro level. Let's take a look at the daily here. So we got to the aggro, never could quite get to the conservative. And by the way, that's why we have the aggro level. We have that aggro level so we can get some skin in the game, but it's a level at which we only want to take 1/4 to really no more than 1/3 of our typical position sizing. Bullish directional bias here. Not terribly established, but we definitely have the green grab candles in the 12 to 2 o'clock angle working for us on the Aussie US. On the Aussie loonie, if you take a look, kind of a similar situation. We have the directional bias, which is up. This is the Aussie continuing to gain on the loonie. Not a lot of other clarity intraday. You know, if I want to take a short sell, I want to remember that I'm fighting what is an overall dominant directional bias. We have an aggro swing buy that is triggered, much like the Aussie US, and to boot, we have another layer of very important support coming by way of the 200 DMA, which is kicking in at that same level of the 20-period simple moving average. Again, giving us that aggro support, that aggro swing buy at support, and that support level is really something that's more psychologically relevant when you couple that 200 DMA into this whole scenario. Consistent green grab candles, 12 to 2 o'clock angle. You know, the direction here is to play that Aussie strength. And I'm not necessarily playing loonie weakness. You know, I mean, even on the Aussie US, the Aussie's outpacing what's been a very strong greenback. You know, when I take a look at the greenback, it's not like we're looking at a very weak market. This is just an Aussie that's really outpacing the greenback for the most part. All right, so that's our free video for tonight. Members, we'll take a deeper look into some of the other setups that I'm watching going into tomorrow's EcoFin meeting. But this gives you guys some idea of what I'm looking at, generally speaking. That Aussie and that Kiwi both are resilient calm dolls right now. The loonie, not so much. Members, will talk about the loonie and our yen pairs and how I'm setting up for tomorrow. In the members area, everybody have a great night.